Again. Today I am going to try to do something that might be a little risky. As some of you know, I am getting married here in July, and I bought a veil that I bought it off of Shein, so it was very cheap. I bought a veil that I thought was going to match my wedding dress. I really loved the detail on it, and I was like, you know, if I don't like it, it was like 16 bucks. It was not a lot of money. However, I get it, and it did not match my dress. My dress is more of like an ivory and champagne kind of color. It's like champagne underneath, and then it's got ivory lace overlay. But this veil is white. Like, you can kind of see it, and actually let me back it up so you can see it here. Okay, so here is the veil. It's got a really nice comb at the top, and it is very long, really long veil. Don't mind my dirty floor. I have two pets. I have a cat and a dog, so I just haven't cleaned it yet today. But I want to bring this closer to show you the detailing on the edge. So it's got this really pretty like lace detailing, and then there's like these little flowers in it. And that pattern matches my dress. However, the color of it does not. So because it does not match, what we're going to do today is we are going to take this and try to dye it ivory using water and tea. So basically what I'm gonna do is I've got a Dutch oven on the stove, like a really big pot. And then I'm going to boil some water, brew the tea, let the tea cool, and then this has to take a bath in it for about 2 minutes. And then I've got to dry it, see if it worked, and then if it still needs to go deeper, then I will continue dyeing it in the tea, drying it out, etc. So I've seen this hack on YouTube and a few other like TikToks and blogs and things, just to kind of confirm that it worked before I decided to ruin this veil, even though, like I said, it was cheap. It's not like it's a family heirloom. It's not like it's going to be terribly expensive for me to get another one. However, I'd really rather not have to pay money for a very fancy veil. It's going to be a lot more money when I have this one that I really like, and I think we can make work. So here we go with some crazy kitchen experiments. Okay, so I'm going to show you the items that we are working with here. First, we have my Dutch oven, which is really nice. It's a really nice like cast iron Dutch oven to heat the water in, and we have to use this instead of like just a teapot because we have to put the veil inside it. So I mean, obviously, here's my teapot. You can't just stick the veil in there. Anyways, this particular Dutch oven I actually got on Prime Day. It's Amazon brand, so it's the Amazon Basics, and it's really nice. I have no complaints. So I think it was like about, I think originally they were like 40 something, and I got it for like 31 or something like that, which is really affordable for a Dutch oven. So if you're in the market for a enamel cast iron Dutch oven, this one's pretty good. Okay, so we've got the Dutch oven, and then we've got the tongs so that we can kind of stir it around and pull it out of the tea. Just kind of makes things a little bit easier than putting your hands in a bunch of that water. And then we've got I've got this red rose tea. It was just the cheapest at my local Walmart. You don't need like super high quality tea in order to do this. It just has to be black tea. You do have to make sure that it's black tea and not green tea or any other kind of tea or white tea, because the black tea is what's going to give it that ivory color. Now I might go ahead and use this because there's a lot of tea bags in here. So I'm not much of a like hot tea drinker. If I do, it's usually like herbal tea in the evening. I'm usually more of a coffee person in the morning, so just regular black tea bags I probably won't eat that much. I probably won't drink that much, but they're good to keep around for guests. And also, since it is hotter than Satan's armpit out there, I might make a glass of iced tea with some lemon in it later. I do like iced tea, so we'll make iced tea for that. And it, you know, it says love your iced tea, so apparently this kind's good for iced tea. And then of course the veil, which I'm a little nervous because it is such a long veil. The instructions said not to wad it up too much, but I don't know how this is gonna work any other way unless I literally filled an entire cooler full of tea and just stuck it in there, but then I would worry more about it not being saturated enough, I guess. So we're gonna figure out how this works. Okay, so I'm going to set you up here so hopefully you can see my workspace. You may not be able to see me. If you can't, that's okay. You just need to hear me talk. So we're going to fill this up with water first. And since this is really heavy and I don't want to spill it, I'm just going to take, my little measuring cup, even though we're not really measuring anything, and just fill this up. Okay, so I filled it up a little over halfway because of course we want to make sure that there's room for us to fit the veil in here. And since I do have a pretty large veil, actually I'm going to get rid of some of this. So much for me not hauling that back and forth to the sink. But we want to make sure that we have enough room. So if you have a shorter veil, then you probably won't need to leave as much room at the top. But if, yeah, of course, this also depends on the size of your pot too. If you have like a big stock pot, this wouldn't have been an issue. But since this is the largest pot that I own, is this Dutch oven, I had to really kind of be careful and try to make sure that I didn't, and here I'll show you, that I didn't fill this up all the way. Even this might be kind of pushing it. So now, of course, we are just going to turn this up on high, get this water boiling, and I will see you once the water's boiled. So this is a little before shot, if I can get the whole veil in here. So I just kind of hung it from this picture that I have hanging in my kitchen so that you can see just how long it is, and also the detailing at the bottom. Also, like I said, again, my floor is disgusting. That's the laundry room, so that's a lot of stuff that comes in from the garage. Dog toy. Crap the dog chewed up earlier. This was swept yesterday, I swear. Anyways, so you can kind of see against the darkness of the floor that this is clearly a white veil. So let's see. So that, again, this is before for reference, and then we'll see what it looks like after. Now that our water is boiling, the recipe said to put in 3 to 4 tea bags and let steep. So I'm going to turn off that heat. 2, 3, and 4. And then I'm going to just take the tongs and press them in so they don't just kind of float there. Let steep for 3 minutes. So I set the timer for 3 minutes, and we're gonna let that tea steep. Okay, so I recommend only doing it for 2 minutes because it looks like it's getting way too dark. So I'm actually going to take these tea bags out. Swirl them around one last time. Just gonna take them out and put them on my spoon rest. Now we have to wait for this to cool off the rest of the way. So this is probably going to take quite a while. This tea has to cool so that we can put this in it, because this is a synthetic fabric. So since it's basically plastic, it'll melt. So we don't want that to happen. So we have to make sure that this is pretty much room temperature or cool before we put the veil in the tea bath. So this is what your tea bath will kind of look like as it is cooling. Obviously this is going to take quite a long time, probably an hour or 2, just to make sure that it's definitely cool enough for us to put that in, because I really don't want to melt the veil, especially in my nice Dutch oven. So Okay, so now that our tea has cooled off most of the way, it's still a little warm, but it's like I'm putting my hand in it and it's not hurting me. So that's definitely not enough to melt this veil. So the directions said to take the veil and run it under cold water first, because apparently that helps the tea tape evenly. So we're gonna do that. All right, so the veil is wet. Let's dunk it in. Oh my gosh, it already looks like it's working. And I don't even know why I got the tongs out, because honestly it's kind of just easier to turn it around with your hands. And they said that it'll likely come out looking a little darker, which scares me a little bit because this looks really dark, but yeah, this looks like it'll be really nice. Look at that. Look at that color, guys. And now gotta make sure that it's all even. So I'm gonna bring you over here. Okay, so we've got this sitting in here, kind of like moving this around, making sure all of it's coated. It's already looking a lot darker, and now we are going to take it outside. All right, so now that I've made an absolute mess out of my kitchen, I brought it outside to dry. You can kind of already see how it's become a little bit more vintaged around the embroidery detail. The thing I'm a little concerned about is, you know, getting grass and dirt and everything in it, which already happened up here, but once it's dry, that should be able to shake off pretty easily. And so far, so good. Okay, so this is the next day. Actually, it technically had dried in like, you know, about an hour or so. I just put it outside in the sun. However, I read somewhere that if you let it sit overnight, it'll be really a true test of how the color was. So I just hung it from the same picture that I did so you can see it, and ignore my washer running in the background. But this is the final result, and as you can see, this definitely did take on a more antiqued look. So I did put it next to my dress, which I'm not going to show you because the wedding hasn't happened yet and I don't want Charlie to see it. But it does match now. So you may not be able to tell it so much up here, but yeah, it worked. Using tea to dye your veil really worked, and you can definitely see it up here. It looks kind of like brown and gross, but that part's underneath here anyway. But it's clearly not solid white anymore. So thank you everyone for joining me today on my experimental DIY that could have gone very badly. I would not recommend necessarily doing this if it's like a very expensive veil or a family heirloom or anything like that. It does work, but you know, we did run the chance of it could have gone darker than I wanted or lighter than I wanted, or it could have, you know, ruined the fabric. I don't know, like what kind, especially when you get into vintage fabrics and stuff, what that would do. It could have just completely gotten uneven. Luckily mine, I read that was like a problem that a lot of people had, uneven coloring with their veils that they did with the tea. Like there were some splotches that had it, other splotches that didn't. But I was lucky in that case. So I mean, if you get like, you know, a $20-$30 veil off of Amazon or off of Shein like I did, and you want to try this experiment, go for it, because right now it looks like a very high quality veil that matches my dress. But if you have a really expensive one and you're like, it's not the right color, I don't recommend it. I recommend doing a different veil or returning the one you got and getting one that you do want, because there's no guarantee that that was gonna work out. I got lucky. I saw some horror stories where it didn't, but for me, it definitely did work. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye! This dress I got from Belle's Outlet, formerly was Burke's Outlet. I am getting married to a Floridian, so there is a difference between Belle's and Belle's Outlet, I've heard. So make sure to make that distinction so it's not something that you can just buy online. Like, it's kind of like, if it's there, like a TJ Maxx kind of thing. So dress is Belle's Outlet. Shoes are Blowfish Malibu brand from Amazon. This bracelet I got from the Renaissance Fair, so it's homemade. These earrings and this necklace are both from Shein, and then this belt was from a boutique in Pennsylvania that I went to when I was visiting my family. I believe it was called Momoyo Atsu in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. So check them out if you're local to that area. I do think they also have a website, but I really liked a lot of things that were in that store. I bought a couple of dresses in this belt, so definitely like that store. Next time I go back to visit some family, I will be going back. So yeah.